Stevie, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. With me today I have the lovely Samarah Poe, who goes by the Samarah Poe, or Mara, or I just call her my best friend. But thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me on. I really appreciate it. You know, we've been trying to do this for a while, so here we are.
So I mentioned before that I will be conducting interviews, and this is my very first interview, obviously, and I'm honored to be interviewing my best friend. So Samarah is here with me today to talk about her artistry, whether it be modeling, writing, directing, photography, videography. She kind of does it all. So my first question, what is art to you?
Art to me is a form of expression. Everybody has their own medium. And so whether that's sculpting or painting, acting, I guess just any of the arts, but I mean even science is art, math is art, art is everything. Art is a way of living, you know? If you're an artist, that's the way that you breathe. That is who you are throughout a day.
So when did you realize that you were an artist, or that art was what essentially gave you breath?
When I was really young is when I realized that art was my thing. You know, started with drawing like little anime characters and stuff. And I guess that kind of transformed into like me wanting to be like the pretty girls that I drew, or like seeing different models in magazines and stuff, watching America's Next Top Model, and I was like super young. And so my family would set up like little photo shoots for me. So I would go through my sister's closet, wear her clothes, and then I ended up making my first fashion magazine too. And it was called Rad and Fab, and it was atrociously funny, but like, why would I ever do that? And so from there though, it was kind of like, wow, okay, creating this is really fun. This is what I'm gonna
do. Let the people know all that you do as an artist.
Okay, so as an artist, there's, I guess, two sides to the coin. Right, we have the Samarah Poe, and so the Samarah Poe is my personal brand. You know, I'm the face, and I act, I model, I dance, I do a little bit of singing, songwriting, you already know what it is, and I'm a muse a lot of the times for myself. Now, on the other side of the coin, I have my production company that I started in April of 2018.
So Arson Productions is basically a production company, obviously, that you created in 2018.
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration behind that?
So the inspiration behind Arson Productions, I like being in front of the camera, but there's also something magical about being behind the camera too, being able to capture what it is that you envision in your head, and bring it to life yourself, you know. So a lot of that was me. I already started like doing the YouTube channels and stuff like that, but from there it was kind of like, okay, well now I want to capture other subjects. Let me take out my camera and shoot you instead. Let me put some more thought into like what films I want to produce and how I want this to be directed. And so at first it was like a group kind of thing, because I would like have friends that wanted to like make skits and stuff like that, but eventually it just kind of became like, well, I have a vision too, so let me bring my own vision to life.
What is the inspiration behind your logo, the sun?
Okay, so the inspiration behind my logo, as you can see, my logo is the sun, and it has an arrow shooting through the sun upwards. Yeah, I know, right? My sun. And at the end of the arrow is an ankh. And so essentially those are actually the tattoos that I have. I have an arrow, I have the sun, and I have an ankh. The sun represents light, vitality. It's our energy source. So there's that, but then there's also the arrow. And I got this arrow back in 2015 or so. I don't know. I was 16 years old though. I was 16, and my mom took me to get this little $50 little tattoo. But essentially it meant that when life is pulling you back, like an arrow in a bow, it's ready to launch you into greater things. So, just to keep moving forward, keep pushing forward despite anything else. Then the Ankh, that's on my ankle. The Ankh is the Egyptian symbol for the key of life. So that represents life. So light, love, life, and growth.
So when you get into those dry spells or dark places or your spirit is really heavy, how do you stay motivated to continue creating, to continue, just being an artist basically?
Well, I think a huge part of that is knowing when to take a break. Because sometimes when we get into the habit of trying to force ourselves to create art and force ourselves, that's like forcing yourself to live, essentially.
Oh no, I'm like a mini Oprah. Oprah would be like, what would she say? She said that's an aha moment. That was an moment for me.
That's what it is though. It's like you don't want to have to go through every day forcing yourself to create something when it could come naturally to you.
Right.
So the biggest part of it is knowing when to take a break, knowing when to step back, maybe explore other forms of art that you like to do too, so that you don't get overwhelmed and frustrated and oh my gosh, you find yourself not even wanting to do the project anymore.
So obviously, as you all can see, you are an art mom now. Give us a brief definition of what an art mom is.
So, an art mom, an art mama, essentially so I guess as a blanket definition, it's a mother who's also an artist who's also a mother. But I feel like to kind of take on the role of an art mom feels deeper than that, because now your identity is it's not simply motherhood, it's not just motherhood, but it's a huge part of who you are now. So everything that I create from here on out, he's a source of inspiration for me automatically, because he's changed my life. So my art is forever changed, my life is forever changed, and I guess just to be an art mom is to understand that the source of a lot of your creativity, your motivation, waking up in the morning, to continue creating, is because of your little one.
All right, so boom. So boom. Let's say there is someone watching my YouTube channel right now who is a young mother who feels like she has to just put away everything that has to do. She doesn't have to be an artist. Just anything that she's passionate about. She feels as if motherhood takes over. How do you balance it?
Understanding that a lot of the times people are going to tell you those kinds of things. I got that when I kind of announced that I was pregnant too. A lot of negativity surrounding, the baby, oh, well, that you're not going to be able to go to school anymore, right? Or, oh, okay.
But tell them where you...
Oh, by the way, I'm in the second year of my film program.
Okay, so
went to classes with the baby and everything. All right.
For all the folks that said
for all the folks that said I couldn't do it. Not only is it a film program, it's a competitive film program. But really though, it's just important to know yourself. And know that despite what anybody else says, despite whatever is going on, if there's something that you want to do, you can still do it. Your child shouldn't stop you from doing those things, and they shouldn't have to feel the burden of stopping you from doing those things. They should be your motivation. I feel like when I found out that I was pregnant, I went even harder for my dreams. I was like, okay, well, I have to get my life together so that I don't mess his up. So you can do it. If you're a young mom, if you're an older mom, if you're just watching this, like, you don't have to give up your dreams. You don't have to listen to naysayers who say you can't do this and you can't do that just because they couldn't do it.
What are some challenges that you face as a mother?
Okay.
That even I, as your best friend, may not be able to see.
A huge thing that people don't really see is I'm with him every day. Even if his father does have him for a few hours, you know, he's pretty much glued to me. It can be kind of an isolating feeling, I think, to have someone that's like so attached to you every single day, but they don't really understand what's going on. You know, he's my child, he's not my best friend or anything. And so it can get really lonely. It can get really isolating, especially if you don't have a huge support system like readily available to you. And so I feel like a lot of times people don't see the really dark side
Of
being a mother when he's, you know, looking at me crying, and sometimes I just don't know what to do. And so I'm just looking back at him now. I'm crying too. You know, we're just looking at each other, crying at each other.
You know, it's certain to me.
So I think just a lot of people expect like me to always be, you know, happy and things are going great and oh my God, I love my baby, which I do, and things are great. It's just that feeling of darkness, sometimes hopelessness of, you know, what did I get myself into? It's not regret, because I don't regret him at all. It's more so like, you know, like the what ifs that kind of pick at you and bug at you sometimes.
I don't have to keep mentioning being my best friend. You being my best friend, but you know what I strive to do when it comes to mental health within our community. With you saying all that you have just said, so what are some things that you do to keep your mental headspace in a stable place, being a mother, being an artist, a student?
Really trying to know myself, know what it is that I need to stay away from. And let me also say, self-love is a huge thing too. Because if you don't think that you're worthy of love, worthy of respect, like you have to have that love and that respect for yourself, if that makes sense. So that includes eating right, you know, that includes, if meditation is your thing, making sure you meditate and get yourself into a right headspace. Yoga, doing things that you like to do, like drinking tea or journaling or walking around outside. You know, the sun is like a huge, it's a vitamin D booster. So it already boosts the chemicals in your body to put you in a happier place.
Have you realized how powerful you are as a woman now? Like, is there a new form of realization?
So there has been like a few epiphanies that I've kind of come to when it comes to being both black and woman and mother and artist. And as in daily conversation and daily interactions with others, it's always like, wow, you know, you're such an inspiration, and, you know, wow, you're doing all these great things. Feels like I'm like, like the water's right here, and I'm like trying to hold my head above water, struggling. But to know that other people are looking to me as both black and woman and artist, and, you know, someone trying to just make it happen every single day. I've come to the realization that I'm touching more lives than I think that I am.
You taking over the interview, buddy. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Coming to that realization has been, yeah, that's right, just really powerful and kind of life-changing. It makes me want to do better, not just for myself, not just for my son, but for other people who are looking to me too.
Who are some people that you look up to, some artists?
Honestly, so I know like a lot of the times people look to celebrities and like people who are in the game, and that's true too. Like I do look to like people like Issa Rae, of course, Lena Waithe, but Honestly, I draw most of my inspiration from the people around me. Like, truly. Just seeing, I get to see both sides, to what they put out. I get to converse with these people, understand what actually goes in to making their art. And that actually has come from me being out here in Ohio, surprisingly.
Oh, shade. She's from Maryland.
Yeah, I'm from the DMV. We do things a little different out there. But I've actually felt like I've come more into myself as an artist being here in Ohio.
Okay, so at the end of the day, with being the Samarah Poe, being my best friend, the humble individual that you are, the artist that you are, what all do you want to accomplish, and what do you aim to put out into the universe with your art?
I think a lot of it truly goes back to what even Arson Production stands for. I want, my biggest goal, I think just in life, is to move the world into a higher state of consciousness.
But what moves you into a higher state of consciousness?
I'm still working on it. And I think that that's the beauty behind a lot of it too, is that while I'm trying to inspire others and, put content out that's gonna enlighten other people, make them want to shift their mindsets, I'm still learning how to do that for myself. So it's all a learning process, it's a growing process, but I think that just trying to stay aligned with who I know myself to be and who I see myself being, I am that person already. I just have to move towards that path.
Well, thank you so much, Samarah, for joining me for my very first interview. I've been wanting to do this forever, so it's an honor to have you be my first one-camera interview.
It's an honor to be interviewed by you.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
So tell everyone where we can find you on social media.
Okay, so you can find me on different social media platforms at the Samarah Poe, and also at Arson Productions. You can find me on Facebook with the same names. And also make sure you subscribe to my channel over on the Experience On Demand platform.
So that's what you have to tell the people.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.